Being a YouTuber. It's the dream job of every child. According to this survey, it's the fourth most desired job in the world, and I've seen other kids saying that Gen Z aspires to be a YouTuber or influencer or content creator of some kind above all else. But is it the dream job it's all cracked up to be, or does it actually suck and come with a lot of potential dangers? Should you let your kid become a Twitch streamer and or YouTuber? Well, today you'll find out. Sort of.
So today I want to talk to you a little bit about being a lolcow.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark, and for those of you who don't know, I keep in touch with the media a bit, okay? I like to check out the news tab on Google a lot to find articles related to YouTubers or streamers or TikTok, content creators in general, really, because I think it's important to see what people outside of my sort of area of work or in more traditional media roles think about my job and YouTube as a whole. I mean, writing articles has been a job for decades now, while being a YouTuber or streamer has been a profession for like maybe 15 years, maybe 10 really. It's been something that's felt realistic and attainable to most people for maybe like 5 years, 6 years. So it's good to see how the culture sees this kind of area of work, right? And this article is titled, "So your kid wants to be a YouTuber. Should you let them?" And as someone who started doing YouTube when I was pretty young, like 13, 14 around there, I was posting for the first time and really getting my feet wet with it. And I mean, a lot of my friends did the same. They were making stuff as early as middle school and posting it publicly without parental consent. So I think this will be an interesting read to hear about, you know, what the media thinks about child YouTubers, what parents think about it. And I think that they actually did an interview with some, you know, parents of kids who have a famous YouTube channel with 20 million subscribers in this article. So I think this should be a good read to kind of get a pulse on what the mainstream is feeling, okay? And you know what? Maybe there will be some personal insight for aspiring YouTubers, for myself, even as someone who I guess technically does it professionally, right? So yeah, let's get into it. For generations, kids have rattled off career aspirations that change as often as the weather. Candy maker, dentist, professional sports player, veterinarian, the list goes on. As they grow, their career aspirations often change a bit. It's a normal part of childhood to have varied interests before choosing a career path. With the explosion and monetization of online content creation, though, some of today's digital natives have just one career goal: to be famous on the internet. Parents might want to dispel this dream, which can feel as unlikely as a Pee-wee football player declaring they'll win the Super Bowl one day. But other parents wonder what internet fame would look like for their family, or if there's a way to dip a toe in the water safely. After all, kids are already streaming shows with self-made childhood stars like Everleigh Rose and Ryan's World. With the help of entrepreneurial parents, these kids have created online empires that began with a few simple, clunky videos. There can be benefits to letting kids try their hand at internet fame as long as parents approach it in a suitable way. And this is definitely true. As I was saying earlier, a lot of kids who are like Zoomers, especially young Zoomers, have this aspiration to be a YouTuber. I think a lot of it is somewhat shallow, like they just kind of want the validation and fame and like internet attention rather than thinking about the creative side of it and the work they put into it. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you just don't see the whole picture. Even a lot of adults don't see the whole picture because, you know, they see YouTubers with shiny new cars and nice houses and, you know, these people that sort of make their own schedule and they think, oh, well, that seems like a dream life to be your own boss, be a content creator who's famous with this natural organic fan base that you gather. I think what a lot of them may not realize is that a lot of people who do YouTube and run their own businesses in general actually put more time into their job starting off than the average 9-to-5 person because it's sort of about building your own brand. So while if you're working a 9-to-5 job that's like consistent work every day, you know, you clock in at the same time, you clock out at the same time, but you're not doing work at like, you know, 12 o'clock at night, right? You're typically not doing that. But if you run a business of your own and are independent in that venture to make it work, you often need to work for like 12, 13, 14 hours a day and work really weird hours because things just come up that you have to deal with right away. It's more of a passion than just a job, right? It's like a personal venture. A company that you work for in a 9-to-5 is this big machine of moving pieces and you're just one part of it and it kind of operates on its own because of that. But when you do YouTube, even if you have a few people working for you, like some people, you know, will hire editors or writers and stuff like that, you're still not like being told what to do. You need to steer that ship the best you can because you're your own boss. You need to push yourself in a good direction, you know? You're not just assigned work to do every day by some higher up. You are the sole, you know, lead of this project. And so in that way, I think some people can underestimate the sort of motivation and tenacity and drive that it takes to figure this kind of landscape out. And yeah, I mean, with people like Ryan's Toy Reviews, it is strange to imagine how this kid is like one of the most famous people on YouTube. I'm sure for a few years, his channel was the most profitable in ad revenue. I mean, they did north of like 30 million or something crazy like that from ads alone, which is a mind-boggling number. I'm sure since ad rates have gone up, the channel makes even more. But this article sort of calls into question the ethics of letting a young kid do YouTube and what that may mean for them in today's age. Should parents let their kids create public video content at all? The answer to this question is different for every family, according to Deborah Heitner, author of the forthcoming book Growing Up in Public, Coming of the Digital Age, Coming of Age in a Digital World. Heitner has dedicated her career to helping adults navigate raising the most tech-savvy generation in history. While she urges parents to be cautious about how they let their kids be present on the internet, she also does see some value in the desire to make content. There are parents who get the creative side of things. When they see their kid making cool crafts, they get excited and support it, she said. Plus, most kids' idea of putting up videos online isn't about money, but rather the hobby. I don't think there are young kids who are looking for a job. Most parents are not either. Maybe we will see a bunch of millennial parents do it, Heitner said, but there are more kids who just want to share stuff, create something, and make awesome content. And this is true. I mean, being younger, at least in most cases, you're sort of free of the burdens of adulthood. There are no bills to pay, there's no rent, there's no need for income, right? Because your parents worry about that. You just kind of have the time to fuck around and be creative, and that can be a really good thing for kids to make videos about and put them out into the world in this kind of content ecosystem and get some reaction, right? But at the same time, does it need to be public? I mean, kids are known to be embarrassing, to do embarrassing things, to do unorthodox things, or just make bad content in general because they're kids, they're underdeveloped, they're naive, they're not really a full person yet, so they're bound to make more mistakes than adults, obviously. And this article sort of basically suggests that just letting them make content in private may be a better idea than posting it online. Heitner's approach is, oh, you want to edit? Let's make a video that's just for us. And this is real. I think that 12-year-olds should probably not be posting publicly online for everyone to see. When I have kids, they're definitely not going to be allowed to post on Twitter or YouTube. I'm not going to let them get groomed and turn into furries or something horrible like that. They're not going to be on Discord and 4chan, okay? Not happening, no way. While the chance of kids paying for college with their YouTube earnings is slim, many career fields are increasingly incorporating audio and visual content into their marketing and customer relations, according to Michelle Herman, head of education solutions at Logitech. Herman and her team are constantly evaluating the role tech plays in learning. I love the idea of podcasts and creating corners in the classroom, Herman said. It really allows the kids to be collaborative, allows them to be creative. Herman sees value in letting kids become familiar with the technology they will use every day, like video tools, audio equipment, and lighting. All the things that we adults are now learning as we live in the Zoom world are actually really critical for kids, she said. As many parents witnessed during virtual schooling, kids are not inherently good at staying centered in the camera frame or modulating their voice volume while on a video call. Audio and visual content creation also expands the way teachers can evaluate progress. Show your work used to mean writing down the steps to a math or science problem. With the integration of AV skills into the classroom, showing your work could also mean the student making a video or audio recording explaining how they arrived at the answer. According to Herman, AV makes education more flexible. Eventually, today's kids will settle into adult careers. Famous or not, having experience with a variety of video and audio tech can only serve them well. All kinds of workers, from public officials to librarians and even restaurant owners, connect with their audiences via multimedia. About half of all jobs now require tech skills, and that number is expected to rise to 75% by the year 2030, the year that today's fifth graders will graduate high school. And this is funny to read as someone who went to college for video production stuff because, my experience as far as education was basically worthless in that way. They were teaching me Adobe Basics on Photoshop and Premiere Pro at a private university. They were showing me YouTube tutorials in class, which is shit you can learn, obviously, when you're 14 years old on YouTube by watching YouTube tutorials. You don't got to go to a, $40,000 a year private university. And that's how I learned all this stuff. I just looked up YouTube tutorials and how to did it, and they taught me fucking everything I need to learn. So yeah, if you're planning on going to school for like video production, I would say probably don't do it. That'd be my advice. But basically, just being online gave me so many skills that I've built that are super valuable in the job market today. And so in this way, I think that a lot of other kids could probably do the same. Every company now has social media and a whole online marketing team to make YouTube shorts and TikToks and Instagram posts and stuff like that. They pay people to run those dumbass like brand Twitter accounts. So there's a legit market for the skills that you would need to pick up as a YouTuber here. And this Logitech employee seems to recognize that being able to record, edit, and post a podcast and tweet and do SEO and tags and stuff is something that the majority of people should learn how to do if they're looking at any kind of art or tech degree, really. It's an essential skill. I personally know people who were trying to do YouTube stuff when they were younger and they had channels of their own. And while, so for some of them, it never really worked out, it didn't turn into like a YouTube career, they still have jobs now being hired by companies using the same skills they learned for free when they were a kid. I'm not saying to try to like make Fortnite videos in your teenage years, and that will necessarily turn into like a job opportunity, I'm not saying Tilted Towers will turn into your famous career as Ninja 2, but with anything you're learning, it can essentially be a form of job training. And, with YouTube, there's a lot of creative skills that go into it that can certainly be valuable in other areas. So I would say, for any parent, it's important to evaluate that, being creative is good. It's good for your child, okay? I'm Turkey Tom. I'm Tom Dark. I'm the new parent counselor, okay? I'm giving advice to parents all over the world, and I say, let your child become famous. Or do I? I'm going to stop being stupid. We're going to get into the rest of the article here. Sorry. Creating content is a valid creative outlet for kids' ideas as well as critical real-world skill. Some families might also decide to make a go at building a platform and monetizing what they post on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or Twitch. One Ukrainian family did just that in 2015. When parents Diana and E. Bolbat made their first videos, it was just a hobby. At the time, they had two kids who loved watching toy videos on YouTube and wanted to emulate the channels they followed. Vania Mania Kids, named after their two children, was born. 1 year later, when the family's earnings from the videos videos surpassed her salary, Diana was able to quit her job, and E followed a year after that. Now living in Dubai with their 5 kids and a following of more than 20 million subscribers, Diana and E shared some advice. For families considering creating public content, they say it's important to always keep your kids' needs first. Their number one focus is the safety and well-being of their kids. We pay special attention to ensuring the personal safety and privacy of our kids, the Bullbat said. We teach them to not share any sensitive information when they're being filmed, and we also never show any personal data like our addresses or license plate number. Sometimes their followers send messages saying they'll be traveling to Dubai and asking to meet up, and the family always ignores these requests. They aren't trying to be rude, just careful. This is always something I've been kind of iffy on, you know, sort of on the fence about child YouTubers. Like making your kids' whole lives a public spectacle, like those family vlogging channels, kind of seems wrong to me. I think childhood is a sacred thing and it should not be put on blast to millions of people. It shouldn't be shared with everyone. It's kind of a private, intimate thing. Even if everything being filmed is like above board and not embarrassing in any way, even if you're not like beating your kids like Daddy05 were doing.
Now think about your dad.
We got a little out of control. What's up, family?
What's your dad like?
So
I just think psychologically growing up, it may be a bad idea to have a camera recording you at all times during your development into an adult. Once you're an adult, you know, making those choices for yourself is a completely different ball game. You know, obviously then you have autonomy. But as a kid, you can't really understand that. You can't properly consent to that or understand the ramifications of being a public figure. So I probably would stray away from doing that. That being said, this family from the article seems to have a decent grasp on safety and making sure their kids are not uncomfortable or anything like that. So that's good to see. There's some relatively responsible parents. And looking at their channel, it's not like they do like a vlog channel. They do like more challenge and toy videos, which is good because then at least there's like dedicated filming time as opposed to just filming everything and making that content like the Shea family used to do, where like their entire lives, every vacation, every waking hour, going to fucking school is like a YouTube video to be monetized. But I'm still just kind of iffy on like, you know, how that would make my kids grow up as people if they're getting that much attention, you know, if that's really a good idea for them, especially when like they're getting attention for something super kind of menial, you know, just like everyday family life. For some reason, people like to watch like family vlog channels, which are just like everyday family life, normal vacations and stuff, waking up, eating fucking cereal. They like to watch that for some reason. I don't get it, but I feel like, you know, getting that much attention and validation from that and praise and like fame and going to like red carpet events just for, you know, something as normal as that, just, I don't know. It just throws me off. I think it's probably wrong. Even apart from sharing personal information or meeting up with other weirdos online, I mean, the negative stuff that's like super easy to avoid and is like, you know, really boilerplate, like, okay, obviously avoid that. I think that, you know, it's probably bad to just film your child's whole childhood and post it online. I'm glad everything from my childhood wasn't filmed because, you know, I have turned out a lot more weird and like braggadocious and attention seeking and narcissistic than I already am. Always wanting validation from internet attention. All qualities that I would say are probably bad for kids. So yeah. What do the kids think about being famous and all the work they put in? Our kids don't realize they're famous yet, Diana said. The younger kids still believe that all children have their own YouTube channels that only differ in the number of subscribers. The older children have realized they have more subscribers than other channels they follow. However, since the primary audience is young children, Diana isn't worried about it affecting their social lives. Now, this is just bizarre to think about. You know, their channel has 20 million subscribers, keep in mind. I mean, they're a huge channel. They regularly receive millions of views on every single upload, and the kids that are, you know, the stars of the show, they don't even know. They can't even comprehend it. They have no idea that they're getting more viewers than like nightly talk shows or even some movies every single week, right? And I guess this is all by design by the parents, so they don't allow the kids to feel special or anything. They don't get, you know, too in their heads about it, which is good. You know, when being a kid, you should not be like relentlessly shit on, but you also shouldn't be getting like a huge confidence head start, you know, which can also be a very bad thing. I think part of growing up is realizing that confidence and like respect is not intrinsic, it's earned, and you have to work for it. Whereas if you're famous from childhood, your perception of what's normal and what you deserve, what you have to work for versus what's just given to you can be super warped, you know? I think that's the problem with a lot of child stars or YouTubers even that blow up when they're children and become super mega famous, right? They're not used to being a normal person. So when you're not famous anymore and just have to live a normal life, things can get kind of weird and you develop a lot of like drug addiction issues and stuff like that. Always kind of chasing the high of like attention, and you get into a lot of crime issues, you know? Think like Lindsay Lohan type stuff, Shia LaBeouf. You get that sort of fame withdrawal and things tend to go awry. So it's good to hear that these parents once again are being pretty responsible in that way and not letting their kids get too exposed to the kind of downsides of this kind of stuff and the way that, you know, the places that can lead. The next part of this article basically just recommends some basic technology and is like, hey guys, you can get the Blue Yeti or this microphone from Target or whatever. You can buy them a GoPro, you know, kind of standard stuff. I mean, I would say the best go-to is to just make them use whatever technology they already have available to them. Once again, as Turkey Tom, you know, parenting counselor, I would say they gotta earn it, okay? You know, if they can make some money or show some serious interest in it, then maybe consider buying them better equipment. Yeah, anyway, moving on, we're gonna read the last part of the article. We're just gonna wrap this up here. If your child is itching to start their path to online stardom, consider the skills they can develop and what they may learn from the experience. You can always begin with some test videos and audio content that you don't put online to see if their desire lasts long enough to complete a few projects. If they get that far, you can go forward with a healthy blend of caution, encouragement, and optimism. I think everything and every kid and every situation is its own case-by-case sort of situation, you know, but at the same time, it's important to make sure that that, when you have a kid, their online activity is safe and okay. A lot of people that I see when something bad happens to their kids, or they do something bad online, or just something related to the internet happens with their child, they tend to blame websites or computers or something like that. It's kind of the same argument that we got, a few years ago with like, oh, well, violent video games are the issue, or Marilyn Manson is the issue, for someone's kids misbehaving. But I think in reality, when you have a kid, it's really your responsibility to make sure that nothing weird is going on with them, right? To parent them. That's what being a parent is about. So just be aware of, what your kids are doing online. If they're doing some kind of online thing, probably try and be involved in some way. Make sure it's all on the up and up. Make sure they're not talking to furries on Twitter. And I would say, also don't be a family vlogging channel, but that's kind of a story for another day. Overall, this article was pretty well written. I found it interesting. So massive shout out, okay? Massive shout out to the boys over at PC Magazine for publishing this one. Not half bad. We give these articles and these publications a lot of YouTubers kind of have a natural hatred of mainstream legacy media, and that's not unjustified. But honestly, this one was pretty well written, pretty inoffensive. So, I think they deserve a little bit of praise, okay? Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, woo, PC Magazine. That's going to about wrap it up anyway for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. Let me know what you felt about it in the comments section below. It's always good to hear what you guys have to say. Why did you hate it? Why do you hate me? Let me know. Join the community at turkeytom.gg and see my other content at turkeytom.net. You can see all my links there. Instagram, Tom But Dark. Lots of stuff going on. Fun content all around. Yeah, anyway, thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you all real soon. Bye.